Episode 2 of our National Parks series here is called Stone, Story, and Struggle. Gotta love the alliteration in this podcast. The National Parks, yes, thank you, of the Northeast.
I better pick up my iPad now.
That was obviously done by Dan, because he took credit for it. And we do all, just to be clear, we do live in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So.
But two things that you think would be national parks up in our area aren't.
But they're state parks.
I was which ones were you referring to?
Presco.
And?
I don't know.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I don't consider that our area, though.
Well, it's close.
Niagara Falls isn't a national
No, it's not. It's state.
Wow. The wind smells like salt and pine needles. You're standing on the highest mountain in the Atlantic coast. On, not in. On the Atlantic coast.
I wrote on. She just misread.
Yes. Watching the sunrise hit America first. My screen just went dark. Oh. That's why it sounded weird.
I thought you were confused about what I said.
Well, I mean, I don't know about the word first, just because,
Well, that's the easternmost part of the U.S. where
yeah,
the sun would
Europe
hit first.
And stuff, though. But you are correct. You are correct. But yeah, no, my screen went dark. You're surrounded by granite and ghost.
You're also surrounded by billionaires in linen pants and rusticators with sketchbooks and the Wabanaki people who were here thousands of years before anyone said the word Acadia.
Welcome back to Time Tellers. I'm Renee.
And I'm Dan. This is episode 2 of our 5-part series on U.S. national parks. Today, the Northeast, where the parks may be smaller in number, but not in drama.
Mountains, moose, monuments, and musket smoke. We'll hike the cliffs of Acadia, relive the turning point at Saratoga, and walk the blood-soaked fields of Gettysburg. Along the way, we'll meet philanthropists, visionaries, native nations, and ghosts from every century. Don't make fun of me. Philanthropist is a hard word to say.
Let's start with Acadia National Park. Maine, the Northeast's only official national park by name, but with a story that feels like several eras stitched together.
Ooh, Taylor Swift reference? Eras Tour? Sorry. The album just came out yesterday. Before the hiking boots and robster, what is wrong with
What's a robster? Is that Scooby-Doo saying lobster?
Focus. Yeah. Before the hiking boot and lobster rolls, this was Wabanaki land. Indigenous communities like I hate you right now.
How's that different than normal?
I'm going to start this whole thing over anyways. Before the hiking boots and lobster rolls, this was Wabanaki land. Indigenous communities like the Penobscot, Passamaquoddy, and others called Mount Desert Island, Pemitic, meaning sloping land. They hunted, fished, gathered berries, and built birch bark canoes that slid across the water like smoke.
Oh, was I? In 1604, French explorer Samuel de Champlain shows up, calls it Isles de Monts, deserts, or islands of the Bear Mountains, and the island gets tangled in 2 centuries of colonial tug-of-war, French versus English, Jesuits versus raiders, settlers versus sea.
By the late 1800s, Arcadia's battle isn't military, it's cultural. Romantic landscape painters started showing up, sketching jagged cliffs and pine trees. Soon after, rusticators, which I now know to be wealthy New Englanders roughing it in flannel and tea service.
Ha! Which eventually attracts the full Gilded Age. Carnegies, Rockefellers, Morgans building the summer cottages that were basically stone mansions. But plot twist, some of these elites became Acadia's protectors.
Enter George B. Dorr, Boston Brahmin turned conservationist fanatic. He spends 40 years and most of his inheritance saving land from sawmills, building trails, and harassing Congress. Love that for him. Until they create a monument in 1916, then renamed it Lafayette National Park in 1919.
Dorr became the first superintendent. Then, in 1929, they renamed it Acadia, honoring the old French colonial name. All the while, John D. Rockefeller Jr. quietly buys up thousands of acres and donates them, plus builds 45 miles of carriage roads that still thread through the island like veins of time.
Acadia is the park that almost didn't happen. A place saved by artists, aristocrats, and one utterly obsessed man with a giant mustache.
I said great, not giant. It's also a reminder that wilderness and wealth are often tangled, and that the land had names and stories long before Keeler arrived.
Time to march inland. Saratoga National Historic Park, New York. It is 1777, and this is the turning point of the American Revolution.
Picture it. British General John Burgoyne is leading a massive army south from Canada. What?
It's Burgoyne.
That's what I said. What did I say?
Like burger or something weird? Sorry, I'm sorry. You should not have brought me caffeine.
I didn't. That's the one I left here from Thursday. You just left it sitting there, and you just decided to open it now.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Okay.
Nice room temperature Monster Ultra.
It's not that bad.
Anyway, planning to...
Sorry, you might want to just start that again. Sorry, don't hate me.
Picture it. British General John Burgoyne is leading massive army south from Canada, planning to split the colonies in half. But American troops, scrappy, outnumbered, and desperate, stop him near the Hudson River.
The battles of Freeman Farm and Bemis Heights turned the tide. The Americans, led by General Horatio Gates, hold the line. But the real wild card is Benedict Arnold, who, at this moment in time, is still a hero.
Allegedly.
At this moment in time, he's still known as a hero.
But was?
This is before he... Just because you lose hero status doesn't mean at some point in the timeline of history you weren't considered a hero.
Arnold charges in the battle against orders, leads a counterattack, and gets shot in the leg, but wins the field. The victory is so huge that France joins the war as America's ally. Without Saratoga, there's no Yorktown, no victory, no country.
Can we go back to England? The battlefield is now a quite forested park with earthworks, cannons, and plaques, but it buzzes with what it meant. It's not just about bullets, it's about belief. Saratoga is where the world said, maybe these rebels aren't crazy after all.
And it's where a future traitor saved a revolution.
Now to Pennsylvania, where we live. And one of the most sacred and solemn national parks in the country, Gettysburg.
July 1st to 3rd, 1863, the bloodiest battle of the Civil War, over 51,000 casualties, and the moment the tide turned against the Confederacy.
It's 3 days of brutal fighting, names etched into American memory. Little Round Top, Devil's Den, Pickett's Charge. A Union victory, but a harrowing one. What is that word? What is that word? Go ahead, say it.
Oh, boy.
But a harrowing one.
Yes. And then in November, President Abraham Lincoln comes to dedicate a cemetery. He speaks for just 2 minutes, 272 words, the Gettysburg Address that Renee will now read for us.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who have gave their lives, that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, and we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggle here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, and it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we have highly resolved that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. That government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Chills every time.
I can't believe you had that memorized. Gettysburg is now a vast national military park, monuments, fields, cannon lines, and restored ridges. The battlefield is preserved not just to remember what happened, but to ask why it mattered.
And for whom it didn't end, because the war may have stopped in 1865, but the reckoning never really did.
Most people think of Acadia or Gettysburg when they hear Northeast parks, but the region is rich with smaller sites that carry big stories.
Boston National Historical Park ties together pieces of the Freedom Trail. The Old North Church, Paul Revere's house, Bunker Hill. Oh, I can't remember how to pronounce this, and I've been there. How do you pronounce that?
I don't remember.
Fennel Hall? I don't think that's right, though, and I've been there so many times, too. Fennel Hall? Yeah, somebody's going to yell at me, probably my sister. Sorry, guys. It's like walking through the index of your 5th grade textbook with pastries and ghosts.
Independence National Historical Park, Philly, home of the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and a gloriously cracked Liberty Bell, if you listened to our episode a few weeks ago.
Yep.
It's a whole park system built around ideas: liberty, democracy, compromise, and irony.
Also, shout out to Minuteman National Historic Park in Massachusetts. Ever wanted to stand on the exact spot where the American Revolution literally began? Boom. Lexington and Concord.
There's even a park at Thomas Edison's lab in New Jersey and the Women's Right National Historical Park in Seneca Falls, New York, site of the first Women's Rights Convention in 1848.
Also another one of our episodes from season 1.
Yeah. The Northeast preserves not just wilderness, but the bones of movements.
Time for some truth. A lot of early parks focused on battles between Americans. Colonists versus redcoats, North versus South, but less on what came before.
Indigenous nations had lived on these lands for thousands of years: Wabanaki, Lenape, Haudenosaunee, Susquehannock. But the early park system rarely told their stories.
That's changing, slowly. Some parks now partner with tribal nations, include native language signage, and expand interpretation beyond just the Founding Fathers and the cannonballs.
In Acadia, the Wabanaki are reclaiming space through storytelling, art, and traditional practices. In other Northeast parks, native voices are finally being invited back into spaces that were never truly empty to begin with.
Parks are about memory, but also about what we choose to remember.
Is that the lightning rounds, Mother?
Yeah. Also, my kids are back home from their shopping spree, so.
Oh, I thought you just had it on your phone or just told you.
No. Let's hit the highlights.
Okay. I hit the highlight of my day.
Oh my God, I'm going to kill him now. Anyways, let's go. Carry on.
Best place to watch sunrise before anyone else in America.
Cadillac Mountain, Acadia, but only in the winter.
Wildest battlefield drama?
Benedict Arnold saving Saratoga before turning heel.
Best ghost odds?
Gettysburg, absolutely. Hands down. Phantom soldiers, marching boots, whispers in the wheat field.
Best use of Rockefeller money?
A tie. Acadia's carriage roads and the Smokies creation.
Foreshadowing.
You'll meet him again next episode. By him, we meet Rockefeller. I don't know.
Parker most likely to cry with the 2-minute speech.
Obviously, Lincoln. Always Lincoln. Which is Gettysburg. Is actually the correct answer, not because Lincoln's not a park.
I'm sure they have a little monument there for him.
There's no monument to Lincoln at Gettysburg?
I'm sure there is.
I was going to say, what?
I'm sure they have a little plaque right where he gave the speech.
Or nearby, anyways, yeah.
Well, yeah, because if I remember where the speech actually was is now, like, inside buildings.
Probably.
The Northeast is where the idea of America crystallized, where revolution sparked, freedom was debated, and unity was tested. And its parks captured these echoes in granite or blood or in...
But they also preserve natural beauty that nearly vanished. Acadia is proof that public land in the East could be saved, not just out west.
And they challenge us to see the full timeline, not just colonists and cannonballs, but Wabanaki hunters, enslaved workers, abolitionists, and citizens still fighting to make those early promises real.
The land tells those stories. All you have to do is listen.
Next time we go west. Northwest.
Go west, young man. Sorry, what?
Now I want to watch Priscilla.
I'm fun on the weekends, aren't I?
Yeah. Before noon and you're already drunk.
2 problems. It's afternoon, and that's a monster.
With alcohol.
No.
Next time we go west, northwest specifically, glaciers, geysers, giant trees, and rivers that carve more than a stone.
We'll talk Yellowstone, Glacier, Olympic, and a few underdogs. Wolves return, forests speak, and climate writes a new script.
Until then, whether you're watching the surf hit the Maine coast or standing in a Pennsylvania cornfield, remember that every place has time in it.
And we're just the lucky ones enough to tell it.
Aw.
Yes. So, but we do, I mean, it's like, that is so weird to me that Presco's, we have a lot of state parks in Erie, or around Erie.
Yeah.
Wintergreen Gorge isn't considered a state park, right?
It's probably a county. I don't think it's just, no, it's not a state.
Cook Forest is.
The Erie Bluffs is a state.
Erie, yeah, the Bluffs, that's a state. Presco, obviously. But, like, I feel like there's more. Like, I want to say out in the West County.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did you stop it?
No. I was waiting for you to say your bye.
Oh, bye!